Hello everybody, and welcome back to Ys Origin. So I kinda overestimated the length of this next part of the Guilty Fire, so we'll be finishing off this area of this video. Okay, so last video we got the Crimson Lotus Blade. It not only gives the fire magic, but it works as an actual weapon. It has a higher attack power and range than Yunica's regular axe. However, it only has a 3-hit combo, and it swings slowly, unless you're actually using the fire skill, in which you can actually pretty well rapid-fire the thing. As you can well see there, it's absolutely murder on some kinds of enemies. And the charged version of its attack has a really long range. This will come into play later, but for now, it's a pretty cool toy to have. Oh yeah, you can also light torches with it. Clipping! In fact, the charged version of the Phoenix Flame skill actually has a longer range than any of Hugo's attacks, even though Hugo is primarily the ranged character. Because we have the Phoenix Flame, we can now complete this area of the Guilty Fire. Though it does require some extra platforming. All three skills given to each character have the same environmental effects associated with them. It's just the way they're used in combat that tends to differ. These rotating blades aren't particularly damaging on a per-hit basis, but there isn't exactly much of what you might call invincibility frames on being hit in this game, not unless the attack knocks you clear across the room or something. Wait, pipes? Yeah, some things in this game were reused from Ys 1, believe it or not. Yunica is the only character in this game who has a skill that's also an optional main weapon. Aha! Now the sword's charge skill is available to us, though it won't really come into its own until later. One of the annoying things about those flamethrower dudes is that In addition to their flamethrowering, they can hit you pretty much without warning anytime they like with a smack from their gun and knock you straight flat over. Sometimes it doesn't even look like they've actually attacked. Oh, boost up. That's only really important if you're playing as a certain other character at this point in the game. Great, the save gave it away. Welcome to the music-filled Devil's Corridor. While you're in here, your life drains. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's a fixed amount. You're getting hurt, no matter how terrible your own tastes in music are. Okay, so this is why you need the Rhoda fruit. Each character actually has their own separate solution to the Devil's Corridor. Another thing they changed is that song became Fina's instead of Rhea's. Rhea's just plays it on the harmonica. So, Yunica's solution to this problem of the Devil's Corridor is to fight bad music with good. Yeah, you thought she would get the smashy solution. No such luck there. After that, you'll have plenty of room and time to take out all of the red enemies around here. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Just because they're red doesn't mean they're actually tougher, it just means they have different stats. The red versions of those warriors are actually weaker than the normal version. Unfortunately, the normal versions of these things are not too far ahead. We'll have ways of dealing with them, though. And down it goes. Now that's the way forward, but we're not going there quite yet. There's something more important we need. Way to miss there. I think that warrants a detour. Not taking any opportunity you can to upgrade is going to lead to a ton of frustration later on. I once read on a forum about someone who actually made it all the way to, I think, the fight with Zava without actually upgrading their weapon, and I was like, what, really? How much grinding did that take? Because the alternative to grinding is dealing with those bosses with an upgraded weapon, and that's... I just can't even. Well, I mean, no upgrading besides the mandatory one you, Oh, wait, that's optional too! Wow! The way some people play. Okay, the normal versions of these dudes have much higher defense against your weapons, but they can get splattered pretty easily by the Bolt Shock skill. Bolt crashed! I must be absolutely perfect every time I say a skill name. There is no alternative. That jump is a bit tricky to make. The prize, however, is well worth it. The Spirit Cape fills the same role that it did in East 2 and Oath and Felghana. It allows you to regenerate health absolutely anywhere in the tower instead of just outside or other designated spots. Forget that guy, we'll get him later. I will never say no to armor. By the way, something I forgot to mention. The East games tend not to be as porous as other action RPGs. For example, if you're playing as EX Yunica, you can actually light torches with her Bolt Crash skill, which in theory would allow you to skip the encounter with Kishgal. However, if you skip the encounter with Kishgal, you still won't be able to actually progress in the game, because after the event with him, you get the Silver Harmonica, which is required to get you through the Devil's Corridor. At least without an incredibly mind-boggling amount of grinding. Another thing I appreciate about that Kishgal fight is that Kishgal himself is not actually overpowered. His attacks aren't any easier to get around when you fight him again for real. It's just at this point he has much higher stats than most of the stuff you've encountered so far. Okay, this bit is rather simple. Ys games are not known for their fiendish puzzles at pretty much any stage of the franchise's development. Relight the torches, get treasure chest. Simple enough for us. Especially now that we're properly leveled for this area. Torch 1, you know, as soon as I learn to jump. One thing I'm not sure that Falcom has ever answered is why the tower is so much less tense, or, well, super built in Ys 1 than it is here. But then you remember, according to at least some of the dialogue, that the demons only really reappeared in the land of Ys about, and the land of Asteria about 6 months before Adal actually went there. So the tower's various magical traps and devices and so on were probably not well maintained in those 700 years. Either that or Adal just took the equivalent of Darm Tower's fire escape all the way to the top. There's not much more to say about this area. It's pretty much almost done. There is one last treasure to grab here, though. If this is anything like Oath and Felghana, then the Celceta elixirs only, well, give you different amounts of boost to your max hit points depending on difficulty level. I haven't tried it myself. Normal is the only difficulty I've actually played this game on. And there we go. As soon as you've lit the last torch, the game will automatically bring you back to the treasure chest. One thing I like about the medallions is that if you look at them very closely, they actually have an image of the boss that they lead to. Anyway, what I did there was actually gain a safety level because there is an enormous amount of things that can go wrong when fighting the next boss. And the boss of this place is actually very, very appropriate. First things first, though, upgrades and saving. The next upgrade I'm going to buy, though, is actually not only important for the next boss, but also for a couple of later areas. Because reducing the effect of hazardous terrain also reduces the damage of things like spikes, too, and there are no shortage of those in one of the upcoming areas. Okay, the boss of the Guilty Fire is Galaldi, which was the boss of the Mote of Burnbless in East 2. There he was just a head, but now we need to deal with the whole body. For Yunica, the best way to deal with the hands is to wail on it with the rapid-fire sword magic at melee range, and then switch to the axe when he tries to smash his head against you, because that actually does damage more quickly. Plus, you'll probably be out of fire magic by the time you've knocked off the hands. Galaldi is a bit unique as far as bosses in Ys Origin go, as his behavior doesn't actually change that much as you reduce his life meter. He will generally recover his hands after you've dealt 25% of his health to him, or after he's recovered from doing 2 of those head smashes. It's not explicitly linked to his health, so you can end up going through more cycles than just 4 or so. Thankfully, I will be helpfully demonstrating this to you. Yeah, standing in lava. Not my smartest move. Now, this is probably the worst case scenario because since some of the tiles have been removed, getting out of the way of these beams is somewhat harder than it normally would be. And jumping in the lava will only do more damage. So Galaldi's behaviors don't really change, but it can still play some very, very nasty tricks on you. None of Galaldi's attacks are actually linked to its health. It can do any of them at any time. reason I take care of the small fry is that they will actually explode and deal a significant amount of damage. Now, as you saw, I got hit by his head smash there, which practically guarantees that you'll have to do another cycle that you really don't want to do. Still, despite my diminishing health, Goaldi himself is almost done for. And it should only take about one more hit to deal with him. That's right, we cut his whole body off. Which brings us to the next area, the Silent Sands. We'll be covering that later, though. Okay, just saving. So anyway, I will be seeing you next time. Bye! Damn it!